All right. Hey, everybody. It is Mike, and I'm joined by Chris Sewell, baseball card collector, investor, dealer. In that order, Chris is in the United States, fully moved. Where are you today, Chris?
I'm in Virginia at the Chantilly show, and I'm in my car in the parking lot, taking a break from the show.
Yeah, and we're going to try out having you walk around the show. There's Chris C. waiting for the goat, Chris Sewell. Yeah, see, here I am with the goat. Um, so we're going to try having you walk around. You don't have an earpiece, but we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah.
I'd love to. What are your impressions of the Chantilly show?
Well, I love the show. Have you ever been to it?
I haven't. I would love to.
Yeah, I love the show. I think they do it three or four times a year. I mean, it's in my hometown show. It's 20 minutes from where I grew up, so I make a point to go as much as I can. And it's a great show. I would say it's a little less crowded than it's been, but most dealers are saying there's money being spent at a good rate. I would say so. The show is great.
Do you think are you set up there, or are you just buying?
No, I only go to shows to buy. I have a really good relationship with Huggins and Scott, which is a pretty major auction house, and they let me use a table. Basically, they have like, I don't know, two or three booths, and they let me use a table for buys. So a lot of people have set up scheduled times for them to come bring me stuff to buy. So yeah, I'm there just to buy.
Have you bought anything big?
Yeah, I bought quite a bit. I bought it's all collections. I don't buy singles much.
Right.
Bought a few small singles, but yeah, a couple big collections, mostly vintage stuff. Um, yeah, been good.
Looking forward to seeing those. I saw this morning. I haven't had a chance to watch.
No, they're
But
in my
you're
trunk. I could go show you right now, but
oh. Yeah, I saw you. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but you put out the timeline of the history of the four big grading companies, which I'm really looking forward to watching.
Oh yeah, that came out today, and of course, the day after I finished editing that video, CSG announces their big change.
Yeah.
So it's already not updated. It's already not an up-to-date video.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great question from Chris C here. Are there any rare Ripken cards you don't have and are still after? I know you're a 90s numbered Ripken guy.
Yeah, there's lots. I don't really chase specific cards because when the collection comes in, if there's a card that I want to keep, I keep it. As more the way I collect. But yeah, there's lots of rare Ripken cards I don't have that I would love to own. And my holy grail is the 1980 minor league orange border card.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah,
I've talked to you about that one, and I've also talked to Danny Black about that one because he's a Baltimore guy as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
does he have one, or is he trying to get one, or what's his deal there?
He doesn't have one. Would love to have one.
They're tough. There's only like 40 graded ever.
Yeah. You got to think that as a certain age population ages out, a lot of basements and attics are going to come clear, and that population is going to double or triple at some point, right?
Interesting, maybe. Yeah, you mean even of the Ripken?
Yeah.
I hope so, for my sake. I think a lot of that stuff gets thrown away too at some point.
Yeah. Commenting collectors, my longtime subscriber Robert Sagady asks if any Yaz cards that I don't have. I have the entire Topps run of his career. I want to get his rookie, or some call it his pre-rookie. His 1960, which is right here, autographed. That's my next one, and the 61 autographed, and I have them ready to go off to a private signing as soon as there is one. But I have his whole Topps run of his career. I'm trying to get the oddballs too. I've got probably 40 or 50 career oddball cards of his as well. And then they're like all-star cards. I don't have all of those yet, but working on it.
Do you have any of the Venezuelas? Those are impossible.
No, I don't have any of those. I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those I would like to at some point. I'm trying to become a more patient collector and not spend $7 here and $9 there, and I'm trying to save up and buy the bigger things that that are more important.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not actually not. Does he have a lot of oddball stuff that's really rare?
No, there's not much that's really rare.
Okay.
There's just so much of it.
Yeah.
All the food issue cards of that era,
Yeah.
the 70s and 80s, there's so much of it.
Sure. Oh yeah, the 80s, right? That's right. He's into the early 80s.
Yeah.
What's his last one? 83.
Yep. 83 was his last. So I have some of his more modern cards, but I don't necessarily collect them. I don't seek them out.
Yeah.
But I just want the 1960s through the 1983 year.
Yeah.
Orlando. Oh, sorry.
Can you ask Jim what year his Toyota Camry is?
Used Camry for freaking doubles. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Thanks, Robert. My dad joke loading. My kids have bought me like 4 dad joke shirts, so I'm almost always wearing a dad joke shirt.
Are you a dad joke guy? Because I totally
am. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How can you not?
So you're at the show. You're buying collections.
Yeah.
I've been thinking. So last night, Ellie De La Cruz hit for the cycle, and his cards were already on fire. And my friend Ryan texted me at like 9:30 last night Eastern time and said, "Hey, dig out your Ellie De La Cruz cards. They're going for crazy money." And I said, "Well, I've got a first Bowman Mega Mojo Refractor, whatever they're called." And he sent me a link to one that was just about to end as De La Cruz was. I don't remember what time he hit for the cycle, but that one went for like $250. And I thought, this is a really common card. And I went and looked, and they had been going for $50 or $60.
Wow.
Last night before he hit for the cycle, and consistently $40 to $60 in the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
How are his cards selling at the show?
Well, so I would normally not be able to answer that because that's not what I would be looking for. But I actually know exactly this because the Huggins and Scott has a really expensive one. I want to say it's definitely a Bowman Chrome Auto. I don't know what it's numbered to, and it's graded a PSA 10 with a DNA 10 auto. And yesterday at the show, the last comp some people had asked about it, and the last comp for that card was like 1,400, and so he was going off of that when he was figuring out what to sell it for. And then it was either 2 or 3 sold last night or after the hit for the cycle, literally this morning for like 2,100. So it went from 14 to 21 overnight, and everyone's asking about it. So that's what I can tell you about that. Yeah, the cycle is that short-term spike is in a full effect there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through a few comments here. Ruben says you need the 2 Dick Prez postcards. I have one of them already signed, and the 83 Diamond King signed. I have that one signed.
How many autos do you have?
Of Yaz?
Yeah, of Yaz.
6 or 7.
Okay.
Not a ton yet, but
is the end goal to get every single one autographed?
No. Okay. No, his 60 and 61.
Yeah.
And then I've thought about collecting all of them during his the Topps base cards.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It doesn't really appeal to me.
Okay.
The Card Story says his 64 stand-up is an SP. The Card Story had a video go viral, semi-viral in the card community this week. I don't remember what it was, but it was really good. His 64 stand-up is an SP. Yeah, I almost bought that, but Picker Jim bought it out from under me at the Shriner show.
Okay.
It was really, really nice looking card. And Picker Jim got a steal.
Yeah, that card's tough. He's right. The THA Card Story is right.
And then Dufects of Life, favorite junk wax rookie card of non-Hall of Famer or record holder. Got to be, without giving this much thought at all, it's got to be the 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson.
Oh, that's killer. Wait, what's the question? What's the exact favorite junk wax rookie non-Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call, Bo Jackson. Yeah.
I had that up behind me until just recently, but
yeah,
I love Bo.
Yeah, but that's going to be tough to beat Bo. I mean, you can go any of the PED guys as well, but I think I'll take Bo. Actually, I like the 87 Topps more. The image is cool.
Yeah, and it's Future Stars for Bo, right? 87, yeah. So let's talk real quick about PayPal donations. You've got the slider at the bottom here. We are taking donations. You can, in the past, we've done them through super chats, but YouTube takes like 40% of super chat money. So we're trying to collect money for Signatures for Soldiers, which is a great charity. If you donate through PayPal, do it through Goods and Services to gonzalesnut@hotmail.com. You can read that there at the bottom. So if you're willing and able, do that. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. So then you've got also Victor Wembanyama, who just went #1, and he's considered the biggest most hyped prospect since LeBron, maybe even before LeBron. His cards are selling like crazy right now too. So I'm not a prospector. You're not a prospector. So the easy answer to me is these guys are not buys. They're both a sell today. What do you think about buying in on these guys right now?
Yeah, you and I are on the same page. I mean, I think it's already priced in that they're going to be superstars and all-time greats, and if they turn out to be Hall of Famers but not all-time greats, their cards are going to go down in the long run. He's got to be LeBron for it to be a good investment, you know. Or
Yeah,
basically. So I remember I know people are saying he's like the most hyped prospect since LeBron. What about, wasn't Zion? I remember Zion them saying that about Zion as well.
Yeah, maybe. I think that Wembanyama is more hyped than Zion. Zion was really hyped.
Yeah.
When he was in high school,
Okay.
and not so much. Did he go to Duke? I think.
Yeah.
When he was in high school, his videos of him dunking were insane.
Okay.
I remember watching them, going, "This guy is going to be unbelievable." Then he gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And those hype videos weren't quite as big, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Wembanyama. I think he's going to be awesome. But when his Sports Illustrated for Kids card came up on eBay for the first time, it was $20, and I thought, $20, that's crazy. Within a couple days, it was 40, and then it was like $800. I should have bought at 20.
Well, yeah, should have bought a lot of them at 20.
Jeez. Yeah. So Card Alchemy says the same thing. Should have bought lots of those SI for Kids magazines in January. Big regret. I think about this often.
Yeah. Well, I mean, $800. That seems high.
Yeah, and then somebody had an autographed one that was PSA DNA 10, and it's going for many thousands of dollars, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But that's not going to be worth a ton. Even LeBron's Sports Illustrated for Kids card isn't worth very much now because there are so many other. It's not even his rookie card.
I know. Well, so this is often the case when there's a super hyped prospect like this, is that he has so few cards at the moment that they're so expensive, and then over time, it just becomes one in the pack and not a special one. So that's another reason not to sort of invest early. Yeah, if that makes sense. I see that happen all the time. It's like that happened with like Brock Purdy. He just didn't have very many cards, and so all he had was like the mosaic. Everybody wanted this base mosaic, but now he's got a bunch of cards, and the mosaic's not like a special one anymore.
Yeah. Bob Boozle says Zion's cards didn't blow up, but his belly did. Yeah. Yeah, it's really sad to me. I love Zion. I think he's a generational scoring talent.
Yeah.
And if he could just keep himself healthy, which would be, if he could start by just taking care of himself, he'd be amazing.
How many seasons is he in now? He's four seasons in, and he's never played a complete season.
Correct, and he's only played in like 40-something% of his team's games during that
time.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not going to add up long term.
Yeah, it's sad. You give him an 80 or even 70 game season, and I wonder what he could do.
Yeah. His per game numbers are ridiculously good, right?
Yeah, he averages like 27 points per game, even, and that was going. It was up above 30 as he warmed up this past season. He was averaging more than 30 in his last couple of weeks before he injured himself.
Yeah, he's a legit star when he plays.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Word says, I continue to hear people say vintage is going down across the board. I'm not seeing it. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, probably a little. I wouldn't say it's like plummeting. I would say some of the higher end stuff might be coming down a little bit, sort of in the still in the aftermath of the crazy boom we had. But I would say, like, I don't know what you mean by vintage. Vintage is very broad, but in general, no, like a 75 Carly Stremski is the same as it was a year ago, I'd say.
Orlando, a collector's dream, says Luka has over 6,000 different cards. Zion does too, and Zion has more cards than he's played minutes in the NBA.
Is that true?
I made that. I made that up, but it's probably true.
It's probably true. Yeah.
Getting back to the vintage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot is down right now, but vintage is down less across the board than ultra modern, especially basketball, which is plummeting.
I mean, ultra modern has been terrible for a couple of years. I mean, on just a massive downward spiral for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, certainly vintage has dropped in the last 2 years as well, but not to any sort of level like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Boozle says he doubts Wemby will have the durability for an NBA season. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But my understanding, and I'm no expert in Euro basketball, is that it's much tougher over there, although the seasons are shorter. But we'll see. I'm very interested to see what he does. I'll be watching.
Like, much tougher how? Like more physical of a game?
Yeah, it's like Luka and Jokic both came over and talked about how much easier the NBA is. It's less physical, easier to score. Yeah. These guys went from scoring, I don't know, 15, 20 points a game in Euro and came right over and scored way more than that here on fewer minutes.
I wonder why that is. Maybe because maybe the rules are tighter here.
Exactly. Yeah, the NBA wants more offense.
Yeah.
So they make it easier for scorers to score.
Right. Right. Easier to foul.
Yeah. That's why, people say if Jordan were in today's NBA, he'd score 50 points a game. I don't think that's true, but yeah.
I'll go with it.
Yeah. Jordan is the GOAT to me.
Yeah, he's the GOAT to me, but we grew up with him, so we're biased, but yeah.
Yes. Dexflow Toys says he loves Chris. Can't wait to meet him at the Frankensons again.
Yeah, I would love to go to Frankensons again. Yeah. No immediate plans to, but I'll get out to California at some point.
Ancient Redwood says my Tom Brady cards have slid down big time. Yeah, but Tom Brady's safe. Tom Brady's safe forever.
Brady is safe forever, but it is surprising how much he's dropped in the last. He has dropped quite a lot, which is a little surprising to me. But yeah, I agree. I think he's safe long term.
Nobody plays defense in America.
His rookies anyway. Sorry, what?
Yeah. No, bench clear. I don't know if that's John or Mike. Nobody plays defense in America. That feels like a John comment.
Okay. It's actually, I mean, I've heard. I don't actually watch a lot of NBA, but my friends who do say that the regular season, like, nobody plays defense, but then when it gets to the playoffs, everyone seriously ramps up the hustle and the defense and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Would you agree with that, or?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
These guys who were terrible defensively throughout the regular season are all of a sudden lockdown defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the quote unquote problems with having so many games, right? It's like the 47th game of the season. I mean, it's hard to, go all out, I guess, if you're, I don't know.
Yeah. Got a great question from Card Alchemy. If you could only collect one decade of cards, which would you choose?
To me?
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. To me, it's easy, but I'll let you go first. Oh, actually, it's not easy. Yeah, I got to think about it now.
Initially I was thinking the 50s. I think I'd stick with the 50s.
The 50s? No Yaz.
No Yaz.
He doesn't have a 59 minor league something weird?
Nope. Not that I'm aware of. I feel like I'd know.
Yeah. Why the 50s?
A lot of mega rookies in there.
Yeah.
You've got obviously Mantle, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente. Then you've got the 57 set, which has 7 Hall of Fame rookies.
I know it's 6 just because I've had to do a trivia about that recently. It's 6.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a massive decade of the all-time greats.
Yeah, for sure. And you have some all-time greats sort of spilling into the beginning. I guess DiMaggio doesn't get there, but Berra and Musial and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you?
I would do I thought the immediate answer is the 80s. I mean, if I'm just collecting, it would be the 80s because that's the decade I grew up loving. But I also would consider the 90s because I also grew up loving that one. So toss up 80s 90s, I'd probably go 80s because it's got Ripken's rookie in it.
Yeah, I have the bulk of the cards that I want from the 80s and 90s.
So do I.
Yeah. Picker Jim says, "Hey fellas, Picker Jim, I actually mentioned you about 10 minutes ago talking about your Yaz stand-up card.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. All right, 1967 is the toughest set of the 60s. Agree. I actually don't know much about 1967.
I agree. Let me think. I mean, it's definitely at the top. At the top of the list, if not number one. Some of the high numbers are just so hard. 66 has some tough ones also. 61 has some tough. I think 67 probably has the toughest high numbers. That or 66, I think.
Going to drop more if they don't stop playing the obnoxious Hertz commercials. Are we playing Hertz commercials?
No, he's saying about Tom Brady. I think he's talking about Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Brady's got those Hertz
That's right.
commercials.
I have seen those, but they're always skippable for me.
Okay. Yeah, they're always skippable. Oh, is that Ziggy? Ziggy, I met Ziggy at the show yesterday. There he is. Yeah.
Over 100 people in chat. Wow, that's not bad.
All right.
Not here for me.
Why not?
uh,
you're growing. Don't cut yourself short, man. Your channel's booming at the moment.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
Yeah.
Dex Flow Toys says, now that you're moving back to the States, any interest in doing something similar to what Chasing Cardboard? I've actually wondered this very same thing about you.
Totally. I mean, Chasing Cardboard is an amazing channel with what they do. But I love the concept. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but the idea. I mean, I've talked a lot about the stories on my channel of past deals, and that's actually something I'm really looking forward to is future deals where I can make a video about the story, because a lot of the deals, it's almost the story's more interesting than the actual cards you end up buying or whatever. And so
100%.
Once in a while, not every deal is an interesting story, but a lot of them are. And I'll definitely be traveling around up and down the East Coast a lot and buying collections, and I really look forward to making stories about those purchases. I mean, he's got Chasing Cardboard has like really high production value and an amazing, clearly an amazing like cinematographer guy, or I think it's a guy, right?
It's Matt. Yeah.
I don't have that, but yeah, I would love to make videos about some of those stories.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to have that amazing cinematography. It's awesome with Chasing Cardboard.
Yeah,
but I think the storytelling itself is the best part. The photos that go with it. Yeah. I would love to buy collections and do videos on it. I think it's the storytelling is exactly what I want to do.
It's coming.
Yeah. I did one. It's actually how my channel first got noticed back in October of 2021. It's only a few months into my YouTube journey. And I bought a collection and I did like 4 videos on it. And I got a ton of views. For me at the time. It was like hundreds of views on each of my videos.
Yeah.
And but then buying collections is hard and I'm not good at it. So
why do you say you're not good at it? It's hard to value.
Yeah, I think I tend to see one card and say, oh, I've got to have this collection because I want that one card.
Yeah.
They had this, it was this Griffey autographed rookie card.
Yeah.
Was why I wanted to buy that collection. I was like, gotta have it. But I spent $1,000 on the collection and I ended up selling off 80% of it for well over $1,000.
Oh.
And then I kept dozens of rookie cards from the 80s, including that Griffey, got the Griffey slabbed. So I did okay.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you feel like in general you tend to like overpay because you get this is a problem I had for a long time. I see a collection. There's cards in there. Oh man, that's such a cool card, and I got to make sure I get it, and I end up overpaying, and my margins are. I'm putting in a week of work to make $100.
Yeah, and I don't like selling cards either.
I don't either. Yeah.
I've just started doing sales on Whatnot because they make it unbelievably easy,
Yeah.
and I can do it all very, very quickly and easily. But I can only do like 30 cards or 35 in an hour.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to sell on eBay. It's too slow unless I do auctions, and now's a bad time to do auctions for most cards.
Yeah.
Unless you disagree.
I think it's always bad to do auctions unless you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, selling is the by far the least fun aspect of cards. Like buying is super fun, collecting is super fun, sorting is super fun. Trading with your friends, showing off to your friends, all that's super fun. Selling is like a chore.
My dream. So I've got a guy who lives across the street from me, who is in his 60s, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
and he has a room above the garage that is used just for storage. And my dream, even though we never talk, he never comes out of his house, is that I somehow discover that up in that storage is like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of vintage sports cards. And he says to me, "Oh, come on in, pick out what you want, or give me X number of dollars, and
Yeah.
they're all yours." Someday I'm going to ask him if I ever see him.
I think that's likely to happen.
Yeah.
Odds are.
Mike says, show us the Chantilly show. So if you want to just walk through, I'm going to encourage people again, because we've got more people in now. We are taking money for Signatures for Soldiers, easy for me to say. If you could donate via PayPal, goods and services, to gonzalesnut@hotmail.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. That would be great. The YouTube super chats, they take 40% of the money, so we'd prefer it through PayPal so we can get the most money to the charity as possible. This charity is, I believe, the #1 charity at the National Collectors Convention.
Oh, nice.
Very, very good. Hot take, if you pick 2020s as your collecting decade, you get all the stars of today and yesteryear.
Yeah, that's true. That's
very true. 50s vintage baseball and 90s basketball. Oh, yeah. 90s basketball is the best.
In 90s basketball would destroy 80s basketball for sure.
Oh, yeah. As you're walking into the show.
Yeah, so I don't remember if we warned the audience or not. I made a boo-boo not getting an earpiece for this, so there may be sound issues. I might have trouble hearing and things like that, but
yeah,
we'll do our best here.
Yeah, we're having great conversation with the chatters anyway, so you can just go back to your car if it doesn't work out.
Okay.
1800s is Orlando's era.
1800s, I like it.
Yeah, I just did an Attic Find Friday yesterday on an 1894 football card.
Really? Football or soccer?
Yeah. Football, American football card for a Harvard player.
Are you sure that exists?
John. Wow. I didn't make it up.
No, that's cool. I would not have guessed there was a card from the 1800s of football.
Tom Bullard says the 80s for basketball. And then also get Gretzky. And Gretzky's rookie's 79, right? I'm not a hockey guy, but Jack Nicklaus's rookie is 82, but it's like 20 years after his actual career started. But the 80s are great. It's my decade.
All right, so here I am.
Yeah.
What can I show off? There's Robert Edwards. SGC is over here. Beckett's over here. I'll take you to. This is the booth I hang out at, Huggins and Scott.
Oh yeah.
Let's see how.
Yeah, I'm interested, Chris.
What can I show you?
Well, where's your booth? You said you're set up at Huggins. Anybody? Do you have appointments for this afternoon?
Any what?
Any appointments?
Not while during here. This is the booth I made at Huggins and Scott.
Yeah.
Got some goodies here.
Nah,
There's a bunch
can't
of
quite make them out.
bunch of like trouts. They can do a lot. They're mainly vintage. You know, stuff like this.
Yeah, I see some vintage there, but it's tough to make out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. We tried it.
What?
We tried it. It's tough to make out anything, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Should I go
Can you
back
hear?
out to the Should I go out to the
Yeah.
car, or keep walking around?
Let's go back to the car. We can keep talking. It's tough to really make out anything. Actually, John's our engineer. Can you just get rid of me for a minute? Well, that's probably a bad idea because it'll take me. He did it anyway. There we go.
Yeah.
My StreamYard is deeply flawed. We've got a good question from Word here. Word seems to be coming up with some good questions. Chris, would you get actors to reenact some strange card deals?
I've been approached to do something like that. Probably not.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, it was a good idea. It didn't particularly intrigue me at the moment for whatever reason. But it's a good idea.
Chris bought his first Griffey at the age of 14 mowing lawns, just like I did. And then I sold it at a card show when I was 14, like a big dope. I was probably 12 when I bought it. When I actually pulled it from a pack.
Yeah. Was it 89 upper deck, or was it something else?
89 upper deck. And then Harlan from John's Many Collections says Matt at Chasing Cardboard is the best. Even makes Mike look good. I don't think so. Chris, do you ever hunt for collections at garage sales? This is a great question from Ancient Redwoods.
I used to a lot. So when I first started as a dealer, there's a lot of hustling involved, and I liked it. I would go to yard sales. I used to map out like a Saturday morning plan, hit 5 or 6 yard sales, garage sales in a Saturday morning, and 9 out of 10 were busts. But every once in a while, you'd find something decent. But I don't do that so much anymore. But yeah, I used to quite a bit. I imagine it's still a decent thing to do.
Estate sales?
Same thing. Like I used to do all that: estate sales, garage sales, the locker, what are those storage locker things? I used to do all of that, but I don't so much anymore. Most of my deals now are word of mouth, but I used to do that a lot. Actually, I kind of miss it. Actually,
do you think people are too savvy now when they're setting up for a garage sale, yard sale, storage locker auction? Are they too savvy to know that if they find sports cards, they shouldn't just sell them for $20 anymore?
No. I think they're probably more savvy than they used to be, because sports cards are now they're in the news. Like,
right,
there's headlines about $12 million mantle sales, and people are much more aware of the boom. Whereas 5 years ago, 9 out of 10 people I would tell that ideal baseball cards are like baseball cards. Those still exist. Like, now everyone knows that it's a legit sort of art-like industry with big dollars spent. But 5 years ago, so I think, partially, but not completely. That would be my estimate.
Chris from Missouri asks a great question. I heard him talk about this on his channel, I think just a couple days ago. Do you have an exit plan for your collection? I guess let's start there.
For me, or you want to take that one first, or is asking me?
Yeah, either one. It says, do any of you? I'll start. I don't yet, because I'm so young and healthy. But I'm trying to make it so that it's easier for me to, by selling off things that don't fit in my collection, having a more focused collection that isn't a complete disaster, which it has been.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would have a very, very similar answer. I don't really, because I don't feel that I'm near there yet. But a couple of things exactly like you. I don't just pile hordes of cards anymore like I used to.
Yeah.
Because that just becomes. Most collections I buy are somebody passed away, and there's just a closet full of cards, and the sister just has no idea what to do. And it's sad at times, So I'm going to make sure that won't happen to me, basically by not hoarding. And at some point, I'll make an exit plan.
Yeah, let me see. Some pretty funny comments. I'm trying to. Oh yeah, Harlan says Mayo cut plug was the card. That's right.
Mayo cut plug is which card?
That's the card, the 1894 football card of John
Oh.
John Dunlop.
John Dunlop. Oh man, you got to send me a picture of that if you have one. Or do you have
Yeah.
done a video about it?
I did a video on it yesterday.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that. Yeah.
It's rare. There are only 10. Well, there were 10 known copies in 2012. It's probably in the dozens now.
Okay. Wait, 12 known cop. Would you say in the dozens?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I remember there were 8 on the PSA pop report. I don't remember how many were in the SGC.
If you had asked me when football was started, I would have said after it. I would have said in the early 1900s.
Yeah. So football, if I remember correctly from my research yesterday, started in 1867.
Wow.
And it was it was dominated by Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. There was no NFL.
That I would have known. Yeah.
There was no pro football
right
until I don't even know when, 1930s maybe, 1920s. I don't even know.
There was no forward pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flea markets. Father Son Vintage Card asks about flea markets. Do you ever go to those? I have one in Brunswick, Maine, and a coworker of mine says he goes there and there's this awesome dealer that's set up in there's a former mill. Okay. I haven't been yet, but what about you?
Same thing. I used to go all the time to flea markets. I don't anymore, but I mean, Frankenson's is sort of a flea market. I mean, I guess it's more of like a hobby show, but yeah, all of that stuff I used to do all the time. I really enjoyed that hustle aspect. Although I don't know that it's usually a miss, but I enjoyed it though. Yeah.
I think if we're doing videos on collection buys, the best thing you can do for that type of video is take a picture of the closet or attic that the collection was in originally, in its long time stored state. And that's what people really want to see, is what did the collection look like before it was discovered?
Yeah, that's true. That's nice.
Bob Boozle, great comment, considering knocking on doors and asking if I can clean up their attics, basements, and crawl spaces.
So at one point, this would have been like 20 years ago, I actually took a job at a house cleaning. It was like a company that would clear out a house for you, and I did it specifically because I was hoping to find baseball card collections. And I sort of made the deal with the owner that I would take a really low salary, but if we ran off any baseball card collections, I would get it. And I cleaned out 10 houses and we didn't find any, so I quit that job.
I'm guessing it would take 1,000 houses before you find anything.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Father Son Vintage, another good comment. What do you use to log your collection? I can say I use a spreadsheet. It's just a Google Doc or a Google Sheet, I guess, because I don't like any of the apps, and the apps are always way too expensive. I'm an autograph collector, and the apps don't cater to that at all. What about you?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, no, I just use Excel. I don't document a whole lot anymore, and when I do, I use Excel or Google Docs actually.
Now everyone wants $1,500 for junk wax at garage sales, thanks to the mantles selling for millions. Very true.
Yes, that's a notable thing, is that people want crazy prices because they don't get it.
Yeah, I went and looked at a collection last summer, and it was a woman whose father had collected, and he had passed away, and she had a large box with maybe 100,000 junk wax era cards in them. And she wanted $500 for it, which was reasonable based on what she showed at the top of the box in the photo on Facebook Marketplace. And I showed up and I looked through it and I said, I'm sorry, this isn't for me. And she got a little upset and she's like, well, I'm only asking for $500. And I said, yeah, but there's not $500 of value here. And she said, well, I have 30 more people coming to look at it. And I said, great, then I'm sure you'll find a buyer. But 2 weeks later, it was still on Facebook Marketplace and she had dropped it to $400. And she messaged me and said, I've got it at $400 now. And I wanted to reply back to her, and I didn't, but I wanted to say, what happened to those 30 buyers?
No, don't make any enemies.
No, I wouldn't. But I wondered, and I sometimes think about that. Like I had somebody else who was trying to sell their collection, and they sent me the entire Google sheet of every card. Their father had
No.
a shop where he had sold cards, and he left all the cards when he passed away, and it was all junk wax, and they had documented 100% of the cards he left behind, and they were
Yeah.
all commons.
I've seen that. Yeah.
100,000 common cards they had fully documented, and they wanted like $2,000. And I'm very sorry about your father. This is not a collection I would purchase, and I still wonder, did anybody ever buy that?
Yeah, no, I run across those. Those are quite common, and it's I mean, a lot of people are. I've got 100,000 cards here. You know, give me 10 grand. That's only 10 cents a card. I mean,
Right.
You know, and you got it. No, these are worth nothing. Yeah, I've seen the documented thing. That's almost sad, right? Like, oh.
Yeah. We're down to our last 10 minutes. I'm going to just highlight a couple of comments here. Chris C says his 100 sealed wax boxes is hoarding. I don't think that's hoarding. I think that's awesome.
No,
800
sealed wax boxes?
Yes. 800
yeah.
sealed wax boxes. Chasing Cardboard did a great video on buying sealed wax boxes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool.
Yeah. Pro football was around in 1920. Orlando says first football card came out in 1888, and he would know since he has one of those 1894 John Dunlop cards.
Okay, 1888. Wow, I'm getting educated here. That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then Tom Bullard says, "Don't get me started on the 1990 Donruss error guy asking $1,500." That's the Juan Uribe example, right?
Yes.
It's missing a comma here, so it's worth $1,500.
Or it's got 2 dots instead of 1. Or I mean, there's hundreds of those on eBay. That's a very, very common thing going on.
Yeah. Or the Ken Griffey Jr. 1990 Topps red scar on arm.
All sorts of random non-actual variations. Yeah.
Ryan McClanahan, who's a card historian, writes 1920 the NFL started in a car sales room in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, we probably won't have time, but I want to hear that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a great channel, Ryan has.
Okay.
Exit plan is important at any age. Friend was killed in a car accident at age 30. Left a huge collection to his young wife and kids to deal with. Really sorry, Stuke, to hear about your friend. That's tragic.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, it's probably a good point, though. I mean, yeah. Should at least think about it, I guess. It's like having a will, I guess.
Yeah. Ziggy says he took a job giving roofing estimates so he could search attics.
Ziggy and I are on the same page there.
Chris, when you buy a vintage collection, do you prefer buying cards raw for the potential upside of getting a good grade? Man, Dexflow, great comments here too.
I like them both. I mean, from a fun aspect, I prefer raw because I like just a lot of cards. I like bulky collections. So I'd probably prefer like a large bulky collection, but I mean, graded's great as well. But generally with graded, you have to pay a much higher percentage, so your margins are less. But with raw, there's more quote unquote work to do and more risk, we'll say. But so I like them both, but I'd probably choose raw.
The graded cards though are more liquid, so you're giving a higher percentage.
Yes,
but they're easier to sell.
Much easier to sell, but people also expect higher percentage, and rightfully so. And so, yeah, there's upsides and downsides to both.
Sports Cards Nonsense. Awesome seeing Sports Cards Nonsense in here. I'm in their Facebook channel, Facebook group, I guess. Win-win. Just start dating 90-year-olds, and when they kick the bucket, boom, the attic is yours.
I don't know how I never thought of that.
Yeah, something to consider.
Yeah, for sure.
Bob Boozle, I've started dating 90-year-old women. I get plenty of jewelry, but no sports stuff.
Yeah, I don't want any jewelry.
No, me neither. Any thoughts on non-sports junk wax era trading cards? Garbage Pail Kids. Yes, I just bought the Atom Bomb Garbage Pail Kid from Series 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it ungraded. I'm going to send it off. I think it's about a 7.
Okay.
Is my guess from PSA, with maybe a little upside. It's a 6 to an 8 is my guess.
Okay.
Desert Shield. I just did a video on Desert Shield. The TV show ones aren't for me. What about you, Chris?
Not from the junk wax era. I do like the original Star Wars sets. That's because I'm a big Star Wars fan. But yeah, nothing from the junk wax era. Nothing really that I particularly like. I mean, I was just all about sports when I was that age.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We have 116 people in here. I thought this would be easy to get through comments and chat. This is awesome.
Yeah, nice.
People outside the hobby think everything is PSA 10 prices. That is
yes.
100% right.
That's a funny comment because every once in a while I'll somebody will have a 1987 Topps baseball set, and they'll price it out individually as if every card's a PSA 10. And they got a $20,000 set here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan McClanahan asks, "What's your oldest card in your collection?" Mine's easy. I believe it's this 1933 Gaudy Dazzy Vance.
Nice.
And it's in poor condition, but I paid almost nothing for it and sent it off to SGC.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have a couple cards from the N28 set, which is 1887 or 1888, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
I think I got Charles Comiskey.
Yeah.
And John Ward and a Hall of Fame pitcher. I'm blanking on the name of, but I have 3 from that set.
Last night I was talking to a friend about cards, of course, because that's what I do, and we were talking about the White Sox field, and all I could think of was Comiskey.
Yeah.
What is it called now? Is it US Cellular now?
I don't know, but yeah, it's some brand something.
Yeah.
How many parks are not brands anymore?
Fenway.
Camden Yards.
Camden. It's got to be.
It's just too much money. It's too much money in the branding.
Dexflow asks if it's possible to go rogue and blow past that 10-minute time limit. I'm not in control here, so John will just boot me whenever he's ready.
I'm in no rush, though.
Chris Ray from Philly asks if you could do another ranking list of maybe 1950s.
Me? Oh, I'm doing that. Yeah, I did 80s, early 90s, late 70s, early 70s, and I'll do 60s and then 50s, and then I'm also going to go forward into like the late 90s and maybe into the 2000s. Yeah, that's a series I'm doing at the moment. But yeah, they come out every like couple weeks or so.
Yeah, those do huge numbers. People love those.
Yeah, those are my most popular videos.
Yeah. Let's see. Just scrolling through. Nintendo had some fun cards. Spielberg's Rookies in the Close Encounter set. That's really fascinating.
Is it close? Because he's in a 77 Star Wars. When was the Close Encounter set?
Had to have been. I don't know.
Because he's in some 70. He's in a couple of the cards in the 77 set, Star Wars set. No, sorry, that's George Lucas, of course. Never mind.
Dufex says it's Comerica Park is where the White Sox play.
Okay, yeah.
I can't keep it straight. Guaranteed Rate Field? Oh, maybe it's Guaranteed Rate Field.
Okay.
Do you collect wax wrappers? I do. I'm trying to collect all of the Topps wrappers. It's really easy in the 80s
really?
and 90s.
Yeah.
All the wax wrappers. It's really easy in the 80s and 90s. It gets expensive in the 70s and then outrageously expensive in the 60s and then out of control in the 50s, as you can imagine.
Okay, I don't, but that's an interesting question. I was just going to ask you that. So where does it start to get like pricey? Like, is a 75 wrapper $10 or
hundreds, low hundreds
for a 75?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I haven't looked in about a year, but they were, so it's probably less expensive now.
Okay.
But Card Alchemy, thank you for the $10 donation to Signatures for Soldiers. If you are able to, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We're collecting donations. You can see the email address there if you could do it through PayPal. Also, we're taking them through YouTube Super Chats. PayPal donation via goods and services to gonzalesnut@hotmail.com would be awesome. Mark Hoyle wants to meet me at Fenway. I would love to. I've never sat on the Green Monster seats. I really want to.
Oh, that would be cool.
When I was in college, I went to a lot of games and it was always in the bleachers. $10 for ticket back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
1978 Topps Close Encounters is the Spielberg rookie card. That's got to be John.
I
That's a
never
John
thought about
card.
that. That's interesting. What about Jaws? He's not in a Jaws. Is there a Jaws set from the mid 70s that he's in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Grease before Welcome Back Kotter for John Travolta rookie card? I don't know.
I don't know
This
either.
is way out of my league. Way out of my league.
But I have no idea this stuff, but I love thinking about it because that stuff was booming for a little bit, and then I thought it was cool.
Clean Sheep Shots offers a 1979 or 1980 wrapper. I would love one. Email me at thejunkwachshero@gmail.com and we can work that out. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris, want a wrapper from 79 or 80?
No, I'm good, but I appreciate the offer.
Thejunkwachshero@gmail.com. Yeah. Are we still going? We haven't been kicked out yet? It's 3:50.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to keep going.
Sure.
Jim Faulkner, great contributor to my community, says he would love to do somebody do a video on the 1972 Topps baseball card set.
That's a great set. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, by the way, that was my original idea for my channel. It was going to be like a baseball history. It was going to be a baseball card history channel. Like I was going to do a video of every year. I was going to do a video of every player. You know, this is Frank Thomas's cards. The video is this is Willie Mays' cards. This is the 1972 Topps set. And I started, and just nobody wanted to watch them. They didn't get any views. I got a lot more views when I would just do a PSA reveal or something.
Yeah.
So I sort of pivoted away from that. But that was my original idea. It was exactly that. Like I thought it'd be cool. Like someone's like, "Oh, I wonder what the 1991 Donruss set is," and they just go on YouTube and Google it, and there's my video. That was sort of the idea.
Yeah. Ryan from Breakout Cards has tried that too, to the same, in my opinion, to the same results. Like Ryan does amazing videos consistently, and then when he does those like Stan Musial's top 10 cards, they just don't get as much interest, even though they're great videos themselves. People are more interested in stories. They're more interested in something new that they haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Chris was so good that Bench Clear Media made an executive decision to go one more hour.
I don't know about that.
Hey, I'm here too, you guys.
I don't know what happened to the Bench Clear management, but I think they abandoned ship.
Farmer. I've been collecting the Kellogg's baseball cassettes. Don't see too many people collecting them. Yeah, the Kellogg's cards tend to have some cracking issues, right, Chris? Do you see that?
A lot, very tough. I like the Kellogg's. I think it's a really inexpensive set. Like it strikes me as an inexpensive set. You can get a really, really nice high grade copies for not a lot. But yeah, a lot of cracking. It's a problem buying that set like raw because a lot of them will be cracked off.
Hey, Chris,
So
I know
Ryan
you can
Flanagan
hear me,
makes a
but
point
Mike
here.
can't.
He has a sports card and hobby history channel, and he draws.
Oh,
flies.
Mike can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go, Mike.
Mike, you can't.
We need to wrap it up, Mike.
It's taking some time. My StreamYard is garbage for some
Okay,
reason.
Mike is still on dial-up, so he's taking a minute here to 1200 baud this thing.
All right.
We're going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody
missing,
who
Chris?
gave to Signatures for Soldiers. Head on over to the next channel
Take it, John joined.
for a 4 p.m.,
There's some
3 p.m.,
comments.
2 p.m., or 1 p.m.
My
start.
StreamYard won't show me anybody who joins for like 2 minutes after they've joined.
So this is like dealing with your parents right here.
I will be at the National.
See, this is not Chris. This is
So both of you can hear me, but they can't hear each other.
I can see and hear you. Mike,
John
is out.
can't hear me.
Yeah.
I can hear both of you. Yeah. But
Tell him we're wrapping up, Chris, if you don't mind.
we're wrapping up. That's a wrap apparently.
Say thank you. Say thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
say
so
thank you, Mike. I'm just passing on instructions. He says say thank you, Mike.
It's like the Pony Express.
Thanks, everybody. Please donate. Email address at the bottom. Oh, wait, I see John on my phone now.
Yeah,
There he is.
yeah.
I've got my phone up. 122 people. Please donate if you can. Goods and services, PayPal. Appreciate it. This is awesome. And stick around for more, but not on this specific one. There'll be a new one on Bench Clear Media. Chris, thank you so much for joining. This was awesome.
Yeah, super fun. That was super fun as always, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.